things done a certain way.
Right. And then they get to where they're like 55, 60 years old and they don't have, a companion. They don't have a man, or they don't have a woman beside them, or they're a womanizer or whatever. And that's all they know how to do. Right. And I believe I'm starting to learn more and more and more why God chose Abraham to wait until he gave him and Sarah a child.
But I didn't stop there, though.
Yeah.
I didn't stop there. I looked at my kids and I said, you guys act the way you act because of me and because of your mom. And anything that I didn't like, I had to change it.
Yeah. Father, man of God, husband, all of that good stuff, speaker, coach, mentor, course creator, all that good stuff. Listen, it's about to go down right now. And this is how you know it's divine, because the man just accepted the invite just 24 hours ago just to come on and chat with us, to give us an unshakable conversation. Ladies and gentlemen, I have right here Mr. Les Squair Jr. Welcome to the show, my man. Welcome to the show.
Appreciate you,
Yo, man, I appreciate you, man, coming on last minute, 24 hours. My man got the call and was like, yo, I'm coming.
Yeah.
I'm coming.
Hey, man, whenever I get the call, I'm coming.
Listen, man, now here's what's really, really dope. I want people to understand is that we don't know each other that well, but we're going to get to know each other and everything today. And you came in by reference, from my man Matt and everything, of course. And I've heard so many great things about you over the last several months that I was like, yo, Matt, like, who's the dude that you've been saying, that you've been talking about? Yeah. Yo, let's bring him on. Let's get him on. Let's get us see and make it happen. And
I hope it was all good, man.
It's always good. It's always good. Listen, it's the one thing. Me and Matt don't talk about a lot of people at all, right? Yeah. But when we do, it's always good people. It's always good folks. So we try to keep away from the negative and everything, and always keep it positive. People that kind of edify us and help us grow. Sure tell us a little bit about yourself, man. Like, Father, you about to be an author as well too.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying?
Sir. Yes,
but let's go back, man. Let's who is Les Squair Jr.?
Man, right now I'm a father. I'm a man of God.
Amen.
I'm a husband. I'm a creator, innovator. I'm a thinker, a thought leader, a servant, man.
Yeah.
That's who I am, and I'm evolving every day.
That's right. That's
I'm evolving every day, man.
That's what we're supposed to do.
So sometimes I'm this today, sometimes I might be something tomorrow.
Okay.
So I'm comprehensive.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
That's right.
I'm comprehensive. Yeah.
So take us through, like, how did you you're walking where you're at, now, or did you always want to be a father, husband, something that you came up like aspiring to be?
Yeah, I always wanted to be a father. I always wanted to be a husband. I grew up with mom and dad in the household.
Nice.
Matter of fact, my parents have been married for 30 years.
Come on now.
Yeah, man. So they set the tone.
Yeah.
And I always desired that because I saw what it brought for me. Right? That solitude, that foundation of having God as our forefront. So, I didn't have a lot of, trauma or a lot of adversity earlier on. It came a little bit later.
Right?
Yeah, it came later.
I feel the same way. That was like me too. Like I grew up with both my parents in the household. Right?
Yeah.
My parents are divorced now. After 25 years of marriage. But like, I didn't really have a lot of crazy adversity. I did have some.
Okay.
Growing up, where like my mom and dad, like they had to leave the home, for work.
Gotcha.
Right. My mom worked in St. Louis. My dad worked in Ohio and in South Carolina in the Army.
Wow.
My mom was working for the AME Church, and where the job was in St. Louis. Wow. So, and that was when I was 10. So it was me and my sister. My sister's me. We're 4 years apart. I'm 4 years older than her.
Okay.
So so that was like my first piece of adversity.
Wow.
Learning how to navigate through life without mom and dad, close by daily. So seeing them every 2 weeks, sometimes every 3 weeks, depending.
Okay.
Was a little tough, for a kid like me. Yeah. Skinny kid growing up in Willingboro, New Jersey, and everything. You know what I mean? But it's all good, man. So you said you didn't face no adversity until later, but let's go back a little bit though, right? How important was it to have that 2-parent household, growing up? Like, do you think like that, like, the difference between people that grow up in a single family and the 2-parent household, like, what are the differences and everything in your opinion?
I mean, you see two people that are sticking it through. You know what I mean? Because at the time, you don't realize that they have challenges as well. But over time, you'll see them go through different things and that they're still here. And even as an adult, seeing them still here and knowing what I've been through, married, husband, I'm like, man, they really were solid.
Right.
So you'll see, a level of foundation, staying consistent, being persistent. No matter what the challenge is, they always stuck it through.
Yeah.
So that was one thing, and it gave me a spirit of just not quitting on things.
Come on.
You know what I mean? Not giving up on things, even when things were tough. The other thing is just they always gave us love. You know what I mean? Especially my mom. My mom was big on that. Making sure that she said that she loved us, making sure that she, we were together as brother and sisters, spending time with one another. But a lot of times, man, it was just a lot of love in the household from my parents, man. And that's really what I see is the difference, from that single and both parent household.
Right.
Not saying that there's not love in the single parent household.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of love there, but I think that when you have both parents getting that love from both of them, it just creates a whole child.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You don't have that wound of dad's not there or mom's not there. You don't have to think about, man, what if I had it?
Right.
And then I've got to be honest, even as a kid, I didn't appreciate it all the time because they were strict. You know what I mean? I grew up in the church as well, Kojic, Pentecostal.
Yeah.
Right? Revivals on Wednesday night. You know what I mean?
Straight strict on them. We in here every night. Yeah.
Exactly, man.
Yeah.
So, we learned, man. We learned about God early. That's another thing, man. Just if mom wasn't there, dad was there. You know what I mean? So that was always a foundation, man. And seeing them there just always made me want to be a father and made me want to be a husband as well.
I appreciate you saying that because one day, maybe about 5-10 years from now, my kids are going to look back at this particular interview, right? And they're going to see, exactly why, me and my wife are the way that we are. Because, we're strict parents. I mean, the what they see on the internet, is still us.
Yeah.
But behind closed doors, listen, we make sure that our kids are well organized and disciplined, right? And guess what? Sometimes they're not going to like us.
That's a fact.
They just not.
That's a fact.
Because I'm not going to put you in harm's way. If I let you do what you want to do.
You want to do? Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Come on, man.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I think TD Jake said it some time ago. He said, same key, same car. Right? But if I give my kid the keys now and tell him to go to the grocery store to give me some bread, we'll have a disaster. But if I wait until he gets older, more mature, license and all of that.
Yep.
Same car, same keys, different situation.
Let me tell you the story real quick, bro. So my 9-year-old JJ, every day or a couple times a week, as we're getting ready to go to sports activities, he's always the one that tries to turn on the car, right? Because we got the push start, John. So he want to just get. He thinks it's amazing. It's the most amazing thing ever. I get to push it, but I get frustrated because I'm like, dude, stop doing that.
Right.
Because you're gonna mess something up.
Right.
Lo and behold, one day I'm driving, and I'm thinking that my lights are on automatic, and they wasn't. And I'm sitting there I'm like, yo, where the lights at? Where the lights at? And I'm like, JJ, did you touch the?
Right.
It's like, no, I didn't. Yes, you did, because you're the only one that's doing it. and it's not that I don't want you to have fun.
Yeah.
However, like Solomon said, it's a time and a place for everything. Right?
Yeah.
In your take, how many kids you got?
5.
5 kids. I got 5 kids too, bro.
5 kids. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We may have to do a little power up, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We got a squad.
Yeah, we do.
We got a real basketball team. We got cats that's coming off the bench.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
But-
yes, sir.
So in your aspect, time and place for everything, right? Do your kids get frustrated with that?
Oh man, I just had a conversation before I got here with my wife.
Yeah.
About my kids. Just wanting to step out a little bit further than where we want to let them right now.
Okay.
Right. I got a 14-year-old, my daughter, and you know, she's into the whole makeup, and you know, we talked about a nose ring, and she wants to do the tattoo,
Oh
and
boy.
all of that stuff, man.
Yeah.
And you know, it's challenging at times because growing up as a man of God
Yeah.
and teaching my family, look,
Yeah.
in this house we serve the Lord,
That's right.
right? There's a lot of standards that we have.
Yeah.
But I also don't want to be, you know, a Pharisee.
Right.
You
Right.
know,
Right. Right.
I
Right.
don't want to be too deep and overly deep where they
Right.
have desires, and I'm just this guy who's being so self-righteous
Yep.
that I can't see past that.
Right. Right. Right.
So I gave my wife the time to explain to me what she felt about the situation and what my daughter really felt and desired. And I just say, you know what, man, let's talk about it. And let's give it some requirements. Let's wrap it with responsibility. Let's package it where it's so attractive that you'll wait for it in time if you still desire it.
Wow.
Right? So I've learned that through process because I wasn't always that way. I was the strict guy just like my dad. You know, before I can get a word out of my mouth, it was no.
No. That's me all the way. No. Don't do it.
I already know what you about to do. I already know what you about to say.
Right.
No.
Okay.
So I was that guy, man, and you know, I remembered I didn't like that. I didn't like receiving that. So being that guy over time, I asked my kids, I heard somebody say this one day. They said, sometimes we say no and our kids think we always say no. But we do say yes, but the way that we say yes is go ahead, no problem. We don't ever say yes. So in their psyche, it's always no.
No. Wow.
So I had to change my language. So now when I say yes, my yes is yes. You know what I mean? So now in their psyche, it's not like dad is always saying yeah, no.
Right.
Sometimes he does say yes.
Right.
But there's a certain way that we're going to go about it.
Yeah.
Right? So
that's so good.
So yeah,
do you
man.
think that we say, yeah, go ahead because of the amount of times, right, that they may do something so wrong, but then it's like, all right, you did something good, go ahead. Like, you know what I mean? Like our attitude towards it, it's not like we're trying to be ignorant or anything like that. But when you've done things that if I tell you not to do it and you continue to do it over and over and over again,
it can be frustrating, man.
Right.
It could be frustrating. And I think we do say, I know for me, I'll speak for myself. I know that sometimes I'm like, you know what, go ahead. When I know that I've been hard.
Right.
I can see, after a while I can see, you know what? All right, go ahead. You know what I mean? And sometimes I'm reluctant to even say go ahead because I know what that comes with.
Right.
Right. And that's a level of control that sometimes we gotta let go of.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because sometimes we see our kids and the behaviors and we're like, if I give them this leeway, I know they're gonna take this mile. If I give them this inch, because I know me. When I was a kid, when my mom gave me an inch, I took it an inch and a half, and she looking, they look, I'm out. You know what I mean? So I am teaching my kids based on the same conditions of my mindset, not based on how they truly are.
Yeah.
You know, and that's we gotta work on that.
Let me ask you this: do you ever? Cause I know I don't, but I'm just asking because maybe some parents feel this way, like that they feel pressured by other people's kids.
Oh yeah.
And what I mean by that is because such and such got it, my kid gotta have it, right? So I give you an example, right? So I got a 19-year-old daughter.
You got a 19-year-old?
19.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
14-year-old son, 9-year-old son,
Wow.
6-year-old son,
Wow.
and an 8-month-old son, right? 1 girl, 4 boys.
You got a huge range.
Dude, it's crazy,
Woo.
right? So my 14-year-old is a freshman. And so he got his first phone maybe around like when he was like 13. Okay. Before that, he had like a tablet or, you know, like an iPad or something like that that he could rock with. But I learned from my daughter, right? Because giving something so quick can possibly put a stop on their maturity, right? And I'm not saying that my son is perfect with it, but what I did learn is that, okay, so he's going to school and he got an Android, right? I got an Android. I don't care, right? Like, I don't see the difference. Like, that's just me, right? Like, I got a Samsung. Like, that joint is fire to me, right?
Right.
But the majority of the world has an iPhone.
Yeah.
So he's going, he'll go to school and he'll have the Android. They call him Droid and everything at school, right?
Kids
is crazy,
kids
right?
is something else, man.
But super wild, right? But the thing is that I'm not pressured to get you an iPhone based on somebody else's ignorance, right?
Yeah, man.
So I recently got him the iPhone. Like, just recently. We got him an iPhone. But at the same time, that still comes with some restrictions.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I got the whole thing on family mode, bro.
Yeah.
Like, you got a time limit and everything on the Wi-Fi.
You have
like,
to,
nah,
man.
fam.
You
Because
have
if I
to.
like we said, if I let you go, right, then you gonna go loose with it, right? So what's your take on, some people are pressured by other kids just because they don't want their kid to feel bad, going to school and things like that.
Hold on. You know what I mean? Stand firm.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I heard this guy. I was with this guy. His daughter and my daughter were in a play together, and after they had their whole event, we went out to eat, and he said, "Man, you know what? My kid's gonna go to therapy regardless if I do right by him or if I do wrong by him.
Right.
If I stand strict and stand stern with them, they gonna talk about how dad was all mean and this and that.
Yep.
But if I'm not, and they go run rampant, then they gonna go through the drama of, oh, my dad didn't protect me. He didn't." So he was like, "Man, I'd rather just stay stern with it."
Yep.
And to answer your question, man, I'm stern because, some of these parents don't have the same standards that I do.
That's right.
So I tell my daughter, look, as for us, as for me, as for you in this house.
That's right.
We serve the Lord, man.
That's it.
And I know that it seems to be very simple for us, but for them, as far as the kids, I explain to them, look, my pastor used to tell me, man, you're different. And you're different because you serve the Lord. You're a believer, right? So here's how we do things. So there's going to be things that you want to do, that you desire, and you see other people do. Can't do it.
Can't do it.
And here's the reason why. I think the challenge is, as parents, we don't talk about the why. We just say, hey, no, and that's it. If we start talking about the why and start educating them, then I think it'd be a lot easier. It ain't gonna be I should say simple. It ain't gonna be easy.
Right.
But it'll be a little bit more simple. They might stump their feet up the steps, slam the door, and all of that. And that might be frustrating to you, but the reality is you still protect them.
Yep.
You know what I mean? From the foolishness, because it comes all the time, man. My daughter come, and she's 14, so I'm just starting the stages of teenage, right? And I'm seeing every day is something different, man. Like every single day.
Bro.
And I try protecting my kids and shielding them from a lot of the foolishness, but it's there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's there. So stand firm, parents. If you know that you know that you know.
Yeah.
Right? Like the old school. I know that I know that I know.
Yes.
Right? Just stand firm, and in due time. I'm a testament of it, right?
Right.
I'm absolutely a testament of my family stand firm. My family, keep me in the house when, my friends was out there in the streets, right? I was a testament of going to school hearing that so-and-so got bodied. Somebody got hurt in the same place that I desired to go, but my parents said no.
No.
And in that time, I wanted to be out there, so I ain't understand. But they like, look what you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Man.
You're
deep.
desiring these things, but look what's happening. And over time, as I became, older, and I started dealing with some of the things that my parents like really warned me about, and I start seeing them like manifest in front of me, and I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
Like they were right. These things are happening. So I knew how to go about a lot of different things because they prepared me for it.
Right. Now, what's the response, from your kids? Are they like, like they get frustrated a lot, or is it like, or do they come back after they're frustrated? Do they come back and say, "Dad, I understand"?
It doesn't always work out that
Yeah,
way.
yeah,
It's,
yeah.
as much as I wish it would, it doesn't always work out that way. So let me get a breakdown of my kids. I have 14, 9, 7, 3, and 6 weeks.
Wow, congratulations.
Thank you, bro.
Yeah.
And she's beautiful too, man. Oh man, she's so special.
Wow.
Smiling from ear to ear,
So,
man.
so your
Yeah.
oldest is a girl.
Yeah. Girl, boy, girl. So I got one boy.
Wow. So we got the opposite. I got 4 boys, 1 girl. You got 4
Okay.
girls, 1 boy.
Yeah, man.
That's
yeah,
crazy.
Yeah.
Okay.
So my son is like, man,
Yeah.
he the one. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But yeah, they sometimes come back. It's my daughter that's 9 years old. She gets it. She just has this knack where all you got to do is really explain to her the details. You give her the specifics. You might even go a little explicit with her. And she gets it. She like, you know what? She might be upset for the moment, but she like, I get it.
Yeah.
My son he's go.
Yeah.
He get it and go. I mean, like he's always on 1,000. He wake up on 1,000. He go to sleep on 1,000.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So when you say something to him, he hears you, but he got 30,000 ideas and motives in his head and in his heart that he like, look, I hear what you're saying, but I'm trying to get this done.
Yeah.
Right? So he don't always hear it until you slow him down
Yep.
and say, look, I need you to hear me. And then he'll be like, all right, I got you, Dad.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, but you got to slow him down. And that takes a process.
That's my 9-year-old. Like, yo, fam, like, I'm like, how you got this much energy throughout the entire day? And I noticed something, right? It's like, well, number one, he's homeschooled.
Okay.
Right? So my 14,
we gotta talk about that.
Yeah. So my 14-year-old was homeschooled.
Okay.
And so we sent him to 9th grade.
Okay.
My 9-year-old, we're gonna do the same process.
Wow.
Right? My 6-year-old, same process, right? We're gonna homeschool him. And here's the difference, right? I talked to the president of my oldest son. I talked to the president of his school, and he's like, he's a lot more mature than the other kids. Right? So some things could be a little bit more frustrating to him because he's almost like, an adult in a kid's body. Right? And it's just like, dang, like I get it. So he's like, he's different.
Yeah.
But in a good way. Right?
Yeah.
And it's just like he's a little bit more advanced, spiritually, mentally. He's just more mature. But that's a testament to, homeschooling and holding them back. Because if we think about it, right? We think about it like this. We could, when our kids are around us daily, that's all they see.
That's all they see.
That's all they see. They don't see a bunch of other kids.
Right.
So when they get out with other kids, some things that other kids do, it's like, yo, why are you doing that? That's a little childish.
Man,
that's a little
huge.
child. Like, why you do, like, Dad, why they do that?
Yeah.
Mom, yo, they said this, that, and the third, Like, that's not even appropriate.
Right.
Like,
Wow.
So I think the benefit of homeschool is that your kids are allowed to be around you.
Wow.
Now I'm pushing it through high school, until you get to high school. Then you can go be with, kids your age.
Yeah.
Because now you're at a point where you have the opportunity to be that leader. So imagine if he's already a leader in 9th grade, imagine what he's going to be by the time he's a senior.
That's powerful, man.
Right?
That's powerful. And that this is divine, man. Because me and my wife was actually talking about that with my son. He's 7 years old, and what it comes to in schools when your children have a lot of energy, and it's always young black boys.
Yep.
And they're categorized. They're they get the acronyms and they ready to put them on medicine and things like that. And this is the first time that we have even it's ever come up.
Yeah.
Because he's a lover.
Yeah.
He loves everybody. He hugs, like he loves, and he just has a lot of really good positive energy.
Yep.
But over the last couple of a couple years and being in school, I see what you're talking about.
Yep.
The immaturity, because he was very mature, and then when he started going to school, starting to pick up things, you're like, man, where is this coming from? But we know where it's coming from. So, man, this is even confirmation for me, because me and my wife were just talking about that. Homeschooling him, and maybe even homeschooling our children. And there's a woman that always calls us to talk to us about this Christian school, and it keeps coming up. It keeps coming up. So I might be talking to my wife about
you get into it, man. Because look, like I look at it like this: if I wish I would have started a little sooner. Even with my oldest, I wish I would have started a little sooner.
Okay.
Because I feel that you can never really avoid disaster, but you could be prepared for it.
Yeah.
Right? You can be prepared for certain things and challenges. And I heard Darius Daniel say, he said, if you treat the small things like they're big things, you'll do big things like they're small things, right? Yeah. And these small things of, it's a little bit more work to homeschool. It's a little bit more time. However, the payoff in the end is that you're putting your kids in a position of success.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's our duty as parents. I'm not here to just send you off so that somebody else can raise you, so someone else's kids can raise you, because that's really what's happening. What's happening is that your kids are going to school, and kids are raising kids because of whatever they're learning from their household, or what they're watching, or what they're allowed to watch, or being exposed to. And then boom, you're coming here and you're seeing, like, my son will sit there and tell me, like, yo, like, the stuff that these kids are doing is wild to me.
Wow. Yeah. And you know what? I see it both sides. I definitely see the benefits of homeschooling, and I'm definitely desiring that for my son.
Right.
But when I think about my 14-year-old daughter, she had some early trauma, because she comes from a co-parent or my previous relationship. So she's had a lot of trauma and challenges before. So I've had to have some real conversations with her. And in those real conversations, she will come back home and say, yo, these kids are off the hooks. Sort of like how you would say. Like, they're off the hook. And she's involved in it because she's there. And when I say involved, she's getting involved, SGA, student government, National Honor Society. She's a part of all these different things. But even in those small groups, there's still the foolishness. Usually when we grew up, those groups were like different.
Boom.
Right. You know what I mean? You was on point, you were mature, you had to. Now, even in those groups, these kids are like different. So she's like, Dad, wherever I go, I want to be home. I want to be home. But it was over time of me educating her, doing devotionals with her, having these conversations with her. So even though it is a lot of foolishness happening, it's preparing her for the world.
Come on.
Because when she goes out there, she'll already be prepared for what the foolishness that's already out there.
That's my point, right? That's my point. And I feel like when you come from, households that we can't come from, right? You have that. You have that little base, that foundation. Because my mom always said this, like, look, I ain't always gonna be here. Right. And it didn't hit me until she actually was on the road. And I'm like, dang, like, I ain't got my mom right now. I ain't got my dad right now. Well, what do I gotta do? I got my pop. Right. That's about it. You know what I'm saying? I got my cousin Tanya, that's about it. But like, and my older brother was already in college at the time. So it was like, yo, who I got to. Right. So all I had was older people. Got you. I didn't really have a peer or anything like that. It was, I'm already in. It's like if you're a commander in the military, right? It's you, and then it's the sergeant or whoever. You know what I mean? That's under that's under that. And then you got everybody else that you got to look after. You know what I'm saying? So for me, that was like me and my sister. So that type of adversity had to come. Yo, it was times where I would think about. I remember this one time I actually got jumped in front of my little sister. Wow. And how I felt it's like all I could do is think about her protection while getting jumped.
While getting jumped, yeah.
Right?
Wow.
And it was like, I just hope they don't touch her.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Just don't touch her.
Yeah.
Do whatever you gotta do to me. Just don't touch her.
Just don't touch her.
Right? And that grew us closer.
Yeah.
Because she knew that she couldn't really do nothing physically
Yeah.
at the time. Because she was like 9, I was like 13.
Yeah.
She couldn't really do nothing at the time. So it was like, all right, you know, now our relationship is so close. Like, we're like best friends.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, she gonna protect me, I'm gonna protect her.
Yeah.
But it was in those moments that we didn't have mom, we didn't have dad. You in the world now.
Yeah.
How you gonna react?
Yeah.
So now it's like, she won't allow anything to jump me. And I won't allow anything to jump her.
That's beautiful. Isn't it amazing how God turns trials and tribulations into truth and treasure, man?
Yeah.
Because I have so many moments, and as you talking about that, I got a whole bunch of scenarios playing in my mind of different trials and challenges that I've
man,
had.
Let them loose. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'll talk about one of them because I don't want to make it seem like I just had it all good, right?
Yeah,
because
sure.
Earlier on when I was growing up,
and we don't want you to either.
Oh yeah.
Because look, we trying to keep it real.
Yeah. Of course. Early on, I did have both parents. But one of the challenges I had with my dad was that he taught me and raised me on the same conditions that he grew up in. Right. So he grew up in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, where it was rough. Yeah. Right. His mom, my grandmother, had some challenges. She had, I believe, 6 kids, and he got ran off because he was really great in basketball. Really great in basketball. And my grandmother ended up selling to a undercover agent. And that was all in the paper.
What?
Blew up.
Wow.
So by the embarrassment, I mean, my dad was nice in ball. I mean, round ball, classic, played with. I mean, he should have went to the league. Yeah. But he didn't. He ended up going to Juniata College, which was a smaller D1 school. Played there, did well, and then he had me when right before he graduated college. Moved down here to New Jersey. When he moved down here to New Jersey, he worked in a casino. Right? Manager, years, working. We lived in, I believe it was Absecon at the time. That was a decent area. It was a melting pot there. Actually, I shouldn't say it was a melting pot. It was a lot of white people, but there was a couple black people. Then we moved to the hood. Moved to Pleasantville, right?
Yeah.
And we had this one little strip called Cedar Lane, called BCL, and it was like a family, right? Miss Judy could whoop your butt, right? Miss Judy, Miss Eleanor, Miss Tina, all of them can get on you. But outside of that neighborhood, man, going to school, there was a lot of adversity, man. It was a lot, and I didn't recognize it at the time because it was normal. Now I look at it like, man, we dodged some bullets, literally, right? We dodged some moments,
right?
But my dad, he was stern, but he always tried to make sure I had something in the tank.
Come on,
right? Like he always made sure I tried to have something in the tank. But one of the things that he did that I had to overcome and I had to heal from is that he pushed me so hard that I needed dad. I didn't need sergeant.
Come on.
You know what I'm saying? So it was constantly like, yo, I'm trying to push you. My mom used to have to push him to say I love you. Like I knew he loved me, right? Yeah. But I ain't really feel it.
Right.
And I remember this one time when I was playing ball, man, and we were at this court, I'll never forget, and we hooping, right? And he trying to teach me, how to hoop. And he like, all right, do this layup. And I do the layup. And then I'm trying to shoot threes. That was the time, threes,
Yeah.
So I'm trying to shoot threes, and I'm hitting them too. He like, all right, but let's do these layups. And I'm like, nah, I want to hit the. And then after a while, he got frustrated. He's like, yo, you know what, man? We ain't doing this no more. You don't listen. And that was the last time we went.
Wow.
That was the last time. So I got a little bit older, and I remember I actually lied to him and told him I could dunk because I wanted them to come out. That was the only. He was like, "You can dunk." I'm like, "Yeah." So we went to this court, man.
The things we do, right?
Oh man, yo.
Right.
And I'm skimming the rim. I'm with everything in me. I'm trying to dunk. I finally get it like a stuff, but I get it in. And I'm like, I'm all excited. He like, man, why you lying to me? He was like, why you lying? And it was like, it was broken.
So
man.
broken.
I was broken, and he didn't realize it. But at the
Wow.
same time, we just kept it moving, man. That was one thing about my family. Like a lot of families, we didn't talk about a lot of different things.
Right.
We tried, but it was always really self-righteous.
Yeah.
It was always like, you got to do things by this way, by that. We haven't really had a lot of real conversations that I remember, right? So over time, I resented him, man. I resented him. And we just didn't really have a solid relationship. Yeah. I respected him. Right. But we just didn't have a solid relationship. Where I fast forward years later, man, me and him didn't really talk. We seen each other. Hey, what's going on? Oh, everything good. Everything good. All right, yeah, okay. All right, see you, love you, peace. Right? And had my family, got married, say proud of me, things like that. But it wasn't until I was 30 years old, man. I remember I was having my daughter, Alyssa, she's 3 now. So 3 years ago, man, 3 years ago. Wow. My wife was like, hey, look, you should call your dad so he can help you put up the crib for Alyssa. So at this time, I'm having some really, really big challenges with my dad because I'm desiring this relationship, but I'm hoarding a lot of feelings from the things that happened in the past. So I didn't really know how to talk to him because I was feeling the same emotions as I did 13 while I'm 30 years old. Right. So I feel like a boy. Yeah. I don't even want to talk to him about this stuff. Because what I feel is that he's going to come to me with the same energy that he came to me when I was 13. Right. So I'm like, nah, I'm not talking to him. I would talk to her about the challenges, but I was like, nah, I'm not. Yeah, I'm not ready. I'm not talking to him. She's like, Les, you got to talk to him, and that'd be a good time to talk to him. The reason why we asked him to come is because I tore my meniscus at my job. Wow. So I was non-weight bearing. I had a brace and I was on crutches. And I'm like, nah, I'm not calling. I'm going to do it. I'm going to figure it out. So the day before my daughter was born, I finally called my dad. He came in the house around 8 o'clock. He didn't leave until 4 o'clock in the morning. That crib was up within an hour. Yeah. But he sat on my daughter's bed and I was sitting in the chair and we just got to talking. And man, I just started pouring out, man. Wow. Tears, and what he said to me is, man, I didn't know you felt that way and I'm sorry. And I just broke. So he started telling me all of the different things, that he went through. And he telling me, listen, this is why I did the things that I did. And no, it wasn't right, but this is why I did it. I wanted to see if you had something in the tank because back in the day, I had to fend for myself. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I'm like, man, what you don't realize is you changed that lifestyle for us. Look where we at. You know what I mean? Like we didn't grow up the same way you grew up. So you ain't have to treat us and raise us on the same conditions. So that moment he said, sorry, I got to take him off the pedestal as just being my dad and got to see him as human. Yeah. Right? Because I'm a father, I'm a husband, and I'm like all the things that I endured. You a lot older than me, you endured a lot more things than I did. I took him off the pedestal. And I got to see him and I was able to give him grace. Yeah. And in that moment, man, and I like to paint this picture, it was like the 13-year-old me got up out of the seat, like if you saw a spirit, you've seen those videos before. Right. Got up, walked out the door, and I've never seen him again. In that moment, I became a man. Wow. I'm married 8 years, got 4 kids, and in that moment, I became a man.
Jesus, yo.
You know what
that
I mean?
is, you know what? It hits me because I feel everything that you just said. I feel everything that you just said because I've had my own, ups and downs with my father, right? And I would say for the most part, my dad is a great man.
Yeah, same, yeah.
growing up as a kid whose father is in the military is not easy,
Mm-hmm.
because that type of mentality comes home.
Right.
I teach people now that you got to learn how to separate the two.
Yeah.
Home is home,
Home is home.
right? Because that's your safe space.
Mm-hmm.
Your work is your work.
Mm-hmm.
Are there certain principles that you could take from each one? Absolutely. And bring them home, but you got to treat it like it's home.
Yeah.
The principle is the principle at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
For me and my dad, it's like, and I almost got a little emotional there or whatever as you
Hey,
sitting
me
there
too.
saying it, man.
Me
Because I'm
too.
like, dang, man, like, I never really heard my dad say, I love you until I was in my 30s.
Mm-hmm.
And even then,
Mm-hmm.
I could probably remember maybe 1 or 2 times,
Mm-hmm.
if that.
Yeah.
I can't even really remember the day.
Yeah.
I know he texted once, you know what I'm saying? But it wasn't like, it's not every day. Now, I know he loves me, you know what I'm
Right,
saying?
right,
But it's just, and I'm almost 40 years old,
They gotta hear it.
And I tell my kids that I love them daily. I just text my kids
Yeah,
before I
yeah.
came in here.
Yeah.
I said, be the best at what you do.
Mm.
Nothing else matters.
Mm.
Love you, Dad.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes it's just that simple,
Just that simple.
right? But what happens is that we come from a lineage of where tough love,
Mm-hmm.
I gotta show it.
Yeah.
I can't say that I love you.
Yeah.
Because as our culture and what we grow up in as as Black Americans, listen, if I sit there and tell you I love you now,
Mm-hmm.
they gonna look at you like you soft.
Like you soft. Yeah.
And I don't want nobody to sit there and take advantage of you.
Yeah.
So the way that I show my love
Yeah.
is by making sure that I'm
I'm
hard on you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But it's a new day,
It is.
right?
It is.
We can't continue to live there.
No.
How do we continue to evolve and grow, right?
Yeah.
But look at it like this. God is stern,
Yeah.
but he still say that he loves us.
He still loves us.
He
man.
tells us that he loves us.
Yeah.
Right? He shows that he loves us. Like there's no doubt in my mind that I know that God loves me because he tells me.
Yeah.
Right? But with my dad, it was like, I remember one time I went to I was sick, and my dad called out of work to take me to the doctor, get me checked out.
Okay.
So I stayed home from school.
Okay.
So I got a chance to stay home from school. It's just me and my dad. All right,
Yeah.
we kicking it. Ain't nobody else here but me
Yeah.
and him.
Yeah.
He went to sleep and took a nap. I was just chilling in my room, and I said, let me go to my dad and just show him that I appreciate him.
Yeah.
I was 9 years old. I go to my dad and I'm like, yo, Dad, I just want to let you know that I appreciate you. Thank you for taking care of me. He says, well, that's what I'm supposed to do. And I'm like, all right.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and it just broke my heart.
the
Like, dang. Like,
yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
typical. Yeah, man. That's the typical response.
Yeah.
You know, especially from the men in that era, man.
Yeah.
You know, the manly man, and man, it's a lot. We can go so deep about this. We wrote a book called Letters of Love from Black Men to Black Boys, and the letters are about who we are as men, Black men, where we are right now
Right.
and where we going, and how much love we have for the person that they are right now.
Right.
And we got to start out by saying I love you and end off by saying I love you. And everything in the mix was some game. You know what I mean? We just giving them game about how to be a young man and growing up as a man of God, or a young man of God, becoming a man of God.
Yep.
And it was special. I say that because men have to say to their boys, you are enough, and I love you, and you have what it takes. Boys need to hear that from their fathers.
Yep.
They got to hear, because if you don't, boys will grow up thinking that they're not enough,
Yep.
and that they don't have what it takes.
Yep.
So they'll either try proving it in a lot of negative ways,
Right.
or they'll go other ways,
Right.
right? And it creates a lot of turmoil, man.
Mm-hmm.
Young ladies need to hear from their fathers, "You are lovely.
Especially. Like,
You are
my
lovely."
goodness, yeah.
If you don't say that to your daughter, she's going to seek that validation
Yep.
and that affirmation from everybody else.
Yep.
And that's what I did, man. I seek the affirmation. That's what we want. We want this
Yeah.
affirmation, validation, confirmation.
Come on.
That's what we wanted from our fathers. That's what we want. That's what we want.
Yeah.
So when you don't get that, you go seeking for it.
Yeah.
Thank God that there is a God.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Thank God that we have a Father,
Mm-hmm.
right? That's sovereign, that loves us unconditionally.
Yes.
So that even when we fall and we seeking those affirmation, confirmation, and validation in other areas that aren't sufficient, His sufficiency and grace
It's enough.
and mercy is enough,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
So when you get to a place where you go down that rabbit hole, there's still hope for you.
Yeah.
You know,
All
there's
day.
still hope for you. God is
Absolutely.
still going to be there, and He's always there. We just
Yeah.
got to tap into
Yeah.
Him.
Yeah.
So, guys, I say this, and I say it. Hear me very clearly. Tell your children that you love them.
Yes.
Please, man.
Yeah.
I know it seems so simple. I know it may seem so like you feel like it feels weird saying it, even if you never received it. Start with your kids, because when you start there, you are breaking generational curses.
Yes.
Man.
You're breaking the cycle.
You're breaking it.
It's so important, right?
Yeah.
Like, I hug my children.
Mm-hmm.
I kiss my boys on their forehead.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I love them dearly.
Yeah.
And there's sometimes at night where I just go into their room,
Yeah.
give them a kiss. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Pray over their over their doorposts. Like,
That's good.
you
man.
gotta do those things.
Got to.
Because if we don't want to continue down the same trail, if we want to break the cycle, we're gonna have to do something that we've never done before.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
We're gonna have to do things that are just, like can be very uncomfortable. And I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
I'd rather be uncomfortable. I'd rather be, in a position where, listen, this is not necessarily me, but I'm looking to start something new. It's like starting a business.
Yeah.
Or matter of fact, it's like talking to a female when you first talk to husbands, the first time you sat there and met your wife.
Absolutely.
Tell me you wasn't uncomfortable.
Right.
Like, you know you was, B. Like,
especially when she the one.
when she the one, right? You
Yeah,
know you was uncomfortable. Like, dang, like,
Yeah.
how I'm gonna do this? Like,
Yeah, because you can't come with that foolishness.
Nah,
You
nah.
know
They
when
gonna
you
sniff
know.
it out from
Yeah.
the rip. They gonna sniff it out. Nope, that ain't B. So
Yeah.
what I'm saying is that if we want our families to prosper, if we want our families to go to that next level, fathers, and mothers, we're gonna have to do some things that are a little bit uncomfortable
Yeah,
and
man.
not necessarily what you see out in the world, daily.
Yeah.
Because
yeah.
oftentimes what we're seeing is that we're trying to glean from what we see on television
Yeah.
or social media
Yeah.
and say
Yeah.
that's parenting and say that's a marriage or say no. That's not it.
Yeah.
Because the foundation and yeah, I'm biased, but the fact is the foundation of a marriage comes from a relationship with God.
Absolutely.
That's the first that
Absolutely.
right there
Absolutely.
is the real that relationship that we have.
Absolutely.
That's how we can grow everything else. And if we take those same principles and apply them into everything that we do, then you can avoid a lot of travesty and turmoil and destruction in your life. Not saying that challenges aren't going to happen; they're going to happen.
Right.
But you know how to attack those particular challenges.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
So so the other thing is this, right? I was talking to my pastor the other day, and he was like, and I was asking him about some fatherly stuff,
Yeah.
and he was like, Kenny, he said, the one thing is that we can't be prophets in our own home, and I was like, man,
That's good.
I know, man,
That's
and it's
good,
like,
man.
It's good, but it hurts at the same time
Yeah.
because Jesus could only do a certain amount of miracles in Nazareth,
And Nazareth. Yeah.
right?
They
And
didn't
Nazareth
receive
was only but so big.
Right.
Right?
Right.
It's probably like as big as this block
Yeah,
that we on.
yeah.
That's about it.
Yeah.
So it's like you can only do a couple things that are actually going to elevate in such a way.
Right.
But you can't be a prophet in your own home, unfortunately, because they're not going to listen.
Right.
But what you can do is I can continue to plant them seeds,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? Because I know that those seeds at some point they're gonna grow.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Right.
It's gonna fall on some good ground.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna fall on good ground. And having that support system is big too.
Yeah.
Having that community around you. You know, folks and believers that are part of the church, but then also, you know, that family front. You know what I mean? That's helped me a lot, man. You know, being able to you know, during those challenging times with my daughter, I had my mom or my friends or, you know, my friend's wife, you know, wives talk to her. Or, you know, just different things. Send her a video of someone that I respect, you know, and that has some insight. And just using every avenue, man. Like, don't get limited in your, you know, in your approach. You know, if you think you're the only person, like, and that's the thing about mentorship that we got to realize too. I mean, we're mentoring our children.
Yep.
Right. And one thing about mentorship is you may sow the seed, but you may not be here to see it blossom.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Right.
You may not be the one that waters it.
Yeah.
You may not be the one. It may be somebody else. And we have to be okay with that.
Yeah.
And when we're not, then we're trying to be in control, and then we're trying to be God.
That's right.
You know what I mean? So it really limits us, and then it creates that resentment and that dissension between you and your kids.
Yep.
I experienced it firsthand.
Yeah.
So I had to back off and let God be God.
Right.
Because I was trying to be God.
Ain't that the hardest thing, right?
It's hard. It's hard because you love him so much. You want him to do right.
Because you got to let go of the control.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I look at it like this, right? You know, we're not in control, but we are in charge.
Yes. Yes. I'm glad you said that. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
We're not in control, but we are in charge. I'm not in control of the weather, but I'm in charge of how I respond.
Right.
I can go ahead and buy myself an umbrella.
Right.
I can go ahead and get myself a raincoat. I can get myself a winter coat.
Right.
I can sit here.
Right.
You know, so it's all about how you respond to things in life. And that's all I'm really trying to teach my kids. That's all I'm trying to teach people.
Yeah.
Right? I love people.
Yeah, me too.
I really do.
too.
Even though they get on my dang on nerves sometimes. I'm gonna keep it real. Some people get on my nerves.
Yes, sir.
And it's
Yes,
not
sir.
and it's not even the ones that are already ignorant.
Yeah.
It's sometimes the ones that have the most
That they
potential.
know. Yeah.
Like
yeah,
you know
yeah.
how dope you are,
Yeah.
but you're seeking validation for me to tell you how dope you are
Yeah.
instead of going out and being dope.
Being dope.
Just go do it.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't know how many times I get DMs, people hit me up and be like, yo, I feel like I'm not this and I feel like I'm not that. And you know what? You're not.
That's it.
If you're looking for me to sit here and tell you that that's what it is or whatever, like somebody sat there and said, you know, I feel like I don't fit in. Well, maybe you don't.
Maybe you don't.
Maybe you don't.
Maybe you
Here's
don't.
the thing.
Yeah.
Maybe you don't fit in the area on where you're trying to fit in.
Right.
Right?
Right.
Maybe
right.
you fit in on a certain part of the puzzle where certain things are supposed to fit into you instead of you trying to fit into it.
Right.
Maybe you're a corner piece and everything else is supposed to go ahead and fit in from there.
Right.
So sometimes we're trying to be a corner piece on the wrong corner,
Yeah.
right,
Yeah.
of the puzzle.
Yeah.
So it's like, yo, stop trying to fit in and play your part.
Play your part.
And oftentimes, I don't know if you see it, you know, but what do you say to?
I see it a lot, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for people in that position, man, I just say serve. Right. And what I mean by serve is give the gift away. Like whatever that thing is that you know, because they know, right? They know what it is. Just do it and do it to the best of your ability for yourself, and then do it for the people that you love and around you.
Right.
And you just keep doing it. Go to, you know, if you're a part of a church family, for those that aren't believers that's watching this, you know, find a place where you can serve and give of yourself. Give the gift away. And what you'll find is you'll begin to become the solution to a lot of problems that you see.
Yeah.
You'll see gaps.
Right.
And you'll be able to fill those gaps. Thank you.
Right. Yep, for sure.
You'll be able to fill those gaps. And you'll be able to continue to see that gift become more and more and more. And you'll start to build that confidence to use it even more, to eventually you start building a position around it.
Yeah.
You start positioning yourself where people are coming to you for that thing. Right? So instead of you trying to fit in, you actually stand out.
Stand out.
You know what I mean? Because there's a lot of outstanding people. Because one of the things that I do is branding.
Right.
Right? So with branding and marketing, one of the things that I teach is you should be you. And all the things that you love to do, you can find a way to mesh them all together. But you got to start with one thing.
One thing.
What is the one thing such by doing that everything becomes either unnecessary or easier? So when you do that thing and you use that gift and you serve, it'll come to you.
Right.
But people are so caught up in, oh, I want to be paid. I want to be paid all the time. It's like, yo, you're not there yet. If you were there yet, people will pay you for it. Trust me. They see the value. But you have to give it away enough for people to see the value that you have.
Right.
But until then.
Now, here's the thing with that, right? In order to give something away, you got to be willing to go out and learn.
I'm so glad you said that.
Right? Because the thing is, if you're giving stuff away, then you got to have more in your arsenal. Moving forward, right? John Maxwell said it best, like, leaders never stop learning.
Right.
Like, we never stop learning. Like, I was just telling my wife the other day, like, yo, I gotta go get some more coaching.
Yeah.
I need in other areas.
Yeah.
Because if I'm going to be somebody that's going to be a voice and somebody that's going to be a leader, then I've got to make sure that I'm always continuously growing and learning to add to the arsenal every day, all day.
Man, I was just in class yesterday and the day before, man. I was just in class last night and the night before that. I am a constant learner, man.
Yeah.
I'm a constant learner because when you stop learning, you're dead.
Yep.
That's it.
That's it.
You're
it's
done, dead in the water. Because that's what life is really all about.
Yep.
If you have that fixed mindset that you know everything, and that's when I go into schools and I'm speaking to things, I always ask people, you got a growth mindset or a fixed mindset?
That's it.
Right? Which one do you have?
Yo, Matt, did we not sit there and learn that, bro? Did we not sit there and talk about that? Like, yes, go ahead.
No. But I mean, growth mindset means that you're open, right? That you don't know everything, that you're open to learning new things, learn about people. You are like, as I tell the kids, when people jump out of a plane, they have a mechanism that they use to save their lives. What is it?
Right.
Parachute. Right? What does a parachute do?
Right.
It opens. Open your parachute.
That's right.
Because it'll save your life.
Right.
Because if you don't.
Right. Yeah.
If you don't.
So
when you have that fixed mindset, you figure out you know everything. It's one of those people where you say something like, oh yeah, I got that. Oh yeah, already. Yeah. Hey, you want to go to this class? Man, I got that already. Got that locked down. But you don't see the fruit.
You don't see the fruit. Yeah.
You don't see the fruit.
Come on now.
So that's the reality. When you have a growth mindset, you can see the fruit. And it's not always just money.
Right. I can't really rock with you if you got the fixed mindset.
Oh, yeah.
Because you know it all.
Yeah.
Right? But here's the question. If you know it all, how come you ain't at where you want to be?
Right. Right.
If you know everything, right? But it's impossible to know everything.
It's impossible.
That's why we have to keep learning.
Yeah.
And I look at it like this. There are certain people that I sit there and see that they have this growth mindset, and I'm like, wow, you're so coachable.
Yeah, man.
You're so coachable. You could be poured into, and then you're gonna go ahead and pour it out to other people. But those who had that fixed mindset, it's all about them.
It's all about them. All about them.
It's all about them. And they battle that. And it's not that you're not intelligent. It's not that you're not smart. It's not that you don't have a gift. However, if you don't go and change your thinking, right, then you're potentially shutting off the door to what you could truly do fully.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's like I teach this in my coaching where you got these two people where you got the get it done leader and you got the charismatic leader.
Gotcha.
Right? The get it done leader is a no nonsense. I'm gonna get it done by any means necessary, no matter what. Whatever it takes, I'm going to do it, right? He will fire people if he got to or whatever because you're just not getting it done.
Yeah.
But then you have the more charismatic leader as a people person that will hire people that are smarter than him, to go out and do whatever the project requires to make sure that happens. However, the problem is that only one of them is going to really get the job at the C-suite position. They both came from mid-level management. They go to the C-suite, and then, you know, the higher ups are sitting there trying to see which one are we going to sit there and really take.
Right.
So the question really becomes, which one is going to be willing to switch hit? Which one is going to be, because batting righty got you here, but batting righty won't keep you here. Are you willing to be a lefty hitter as well too in certain
I
situations?
like that.
Right?
That's good.
So who do you think got the job?
I would hope it'd be the person the charismatic.
Mm.
I would hope it would be the charismatic.
You know, everybody says that, and everybody's wrong when they
Yeah,
say that.
yeah.
Because the charismatic one didn't get it. The charismatic one said, you know what? I feel more comfortable at the mid-level position.
I got you.
Because guess what? I'm not willing to fire people. I'm a people person. I'm not willing to make those hard decisions. I want people to like me.
Like me. Got you.
Right?
Got you.
But the get it done leader said, I'm willing to be empathetic. I'm willing to learn. I'm willing to go ahead and switch it up a little bit if I have to in certain situations.
Whatever it takes.
Whatever it takes.
Got you.
Right?
Got you.
For
Yeah,
me to
yeah.
get it. So
Yeah.
you got to have that get it done attitude.
Absolutely.
In order to get to that next level.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
And I appreciate that. Look, I'm learning.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm learning.
You know what I'm saying?
And I appreciate that, because when we, as a leader, and you're working with different people, and you want things to get done, and you like whatever it takes, I'm in a position myself. Right? Where I'm putting people in certain places and I'm delegating certain things, but at the end of the day, I want things done a certain way.
That's right.
You know what I mean? So now I'm in this position where if someone doesn't get it done, I still got to do it.
You still got to do it.
I still got to do it. So I got you, man.
Yeah.
I got you.
You know, here's another way to put it, right? So by trade, I'm a choreographer, right, for 20 years, recently retired from it. And dancing, you know, hip hop, street dance, 20 years, that's what I was doing before I became a coach and speaker.
Yeah.
And me personally, I'm a little biased when I say this, but I believe that the choreographer position is the ultimate leader position. And the reason why is because most times as a choreographer, you're leading people that don't know each other. You're leading people to move as one, to look like one, for one common purpose, for one common goal.
Got it.
Right? Think about it like this, right? Let's just take the Super Bowl, for example. Whoever is leading the Super Bowl, whether it be Fatima Robinson, you know, whether it be Luam or, you know, Trisha Miranda, anybody, right?
Yeah.
Dave Scott, whatever. Their job to lead hundreds of dancers from all over the world to look like one is the hardest thing to do.
I can imagine.
You gotta have real leadership qualities.
Real.
To have the patience to be and have the vision to say, I can use all of y'all and I can make all of y'all look the same in a little bit amount of time.
Yeah.
Because you only got a little bit amount of time.
You gotta have that confidence. Absolutely.
You gotta have the confidence in yourself. So I encourage any leader to take a look and even interview a choreographer. Because if you interview a choreographer, they're going to tell you exactly what leadership looks like.
Wow.
Especially if you're dealing with a group of people that have no clue on how each other work, because where's the camaraderie coming from?
Right.
We got to sit there and buckle down and get this thing together.
Right.
Me and you can go out there and probably do a choreographed piece right now if we listen first. Right? We can do that. So I would encourage anybody to go out and look at real leadership in the sense of from a choreographed position, because each leader is a choreographer.
Yeah.
Each leader is, because what you're doing is you are taking these different pieces and you're putting them together to create a presentation to serve. So that it's presentable, so that people can digest that and say, hey, okay, that's what that's supposed to look like. Let me get that. You know, I need that right there.
Absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely. And I'm in the position now, man.
Yeah.
I'm in that position now, and I'm learning and growing as well. Because, you know, my leadership role always came from me leading my family.
Yeah.
Right? And then, you know, being on my job for 17 years, leading in that capacity. And then as a business owner and being in a different season, right? Leading. And it's different.
Yeah.
It's different.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's different. because you got people from all different walks,
Yeah.
all different backgrounds.
It's different. And
all
you're a Christian
different-
too, so it's
yeah, man. So I
how
can't go about things the same
Yeah.
way.
Talk
You know what
about
I mean?
it, right? Go ahead.
Yeah, because like you said, people are interesting.
Right.
Right?
Right.
And they can say and do some things, and you, as a believer, have to go about it the right way.
The right way. Right.
But the way you feel,
Right. Right.
is like if you don't get your, if you don't get,
You gotta sit there and fight the flesh. Be like,
yeah.
Spirit take over.
Yeah,
real
man.
quick.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And then even those you do business with, you
Yes.
know, it's a challenge because everybody doesn't do things in the spirit of excellence.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that I'm learning, and I'm learning how to have grace for. You know what I mean? Because I like things done a certain way.
Right.
And because I like things done a certain way, I can't expect everyone to operate in the same manner. But I can have the expectation. I can have the standard, I should say. And as they see me move,
Right.
they follow.
They follow.
Right? And then they learn why I am the way I am, or why I'm doing the things that I'm doing. And that's one of the things that I do with all the people that I connect with.
Right.
I want to know why you doing this.
Right.
Like why?
'Cause
Why are you
God,
here?
why?
Why
Yeah.
are you doing?
Yes.
Why does this matter?
Talk about
Where
it.
do you want to go? Like why?
Yeah.
Because
What's
if
the-
I
what's
can
the purpose?
learn the purpose and why you are doing this, then we can set the standard for you, and then I can hold you accountable, and then you get to know my why, and then you can hold me accountable. So it's not some basic surface level.
So what do you say to people that don't know why? How do you help those people? They got a passion for something, but they don't know their why.
I got to dig deep, man. I would say take the time. I'm pretty radical.
Yeah.
When it comes to this, right? Because I'm very, very serious about what I do.
Yeah.
And I want to make an impact. I do make an impact.
Right.
I am a change agent.
Yeah.
So when people go up there in our industry and they go speak, or they're educating, or they're communicating with people, you can tell when they don't have that conviction.
Yep.
And it doesn't make an impact.
Yeah.
So why go up there and spend your time and waste other people's time just giving them things that they can read on Google?
Yeah.
Right? Like
Simple.
if you're the communicator, if you're the
Yes.
mouthpiece, if God
Yes.
gave you that platform, use it and be used by him to
Right.
deliver what he called you to deliver.
That's right.
Only way you know that is by knowing why.
Right.
And the only way you know why is by doing that deep dive.
right,
So
right.
this is what I did. Matt knows because he's seen me do this. For a year and a half, I went out to that park where I met Matt. Or I should say where we we rekindled.
Right.
I would sit there every single day, whether it was cold or hot. I sat at that bench and I journaled. I journaled because all the things that I had inside of me were festering, and I was hoarding, and I was holding all these different emotions, and I didn't know what to do with it. So as I said earlier, I didn't have a lot of adversity and trauma earlier on that I knew of anyway. But I was hoarding a lot of things, and even towards a lot of people. And I start writing, and I was being honest about what I was feeling. Because some people, they journal and they write, and they're trying to make it sound like they're writing a book and try to make it sound edited. Listen, I wasn't writing a book. I wanted to write a book. But what God had me do is journal.
Journal. Yeah.
And I was journaling for hours,
Wow.
man. I would read a devotion. I would read the word, and then I would journal what I was truly feeling.
Right.
And man, I released so much. I was sitting there crying.
Wow.
Tears rolled. People walking by, looking at. I didn't care. I was in my little portal, me and God. And I was just pouring out. And I did that, again, for a year and a half, to a point where my pain, a lot of people say my pain became purpose, but I just want to talk about the process of it. My pain, I released on that paper, and I started to heal because I allowed God to come into my reflections.
Yeah.
Because some people do therapy without Jesus. Some people do journaling without Jesus. They don't invite God in. He's the ultimate healer.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can talk about that stuff, but you don't become made whole
Right.
until you bring him in.
That's right.
So, yeah, you might be healing from that, and you might say you healed, but you're not whole.
You're not whole.
You can be healed, and you can talk about it, But until you are whole, you'll still have that Band-Aid. So people talking about healing. I hear it all the time. Journal to healing, 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 healing. Until you made whole, you don't really have that real conviction.
Wow.
You're still leading and bleeding because when you're healed, when you are healed, I still got the wound. I still have the wound. When I'm whole, God restored me.
Come on.
You know what I mean?
Wow.
He restored me. So now I can talk about that pain. I can talk about it, but it's a convicting. You can feel it when I talk about
Absolutely.
it. I ain't just saying I'm here. I'm speaking to your soul.
Right.
Because you can feel it because I'm speaking to the very place that I was in.
Right. Right.
And I think that that's why you have to get to your why. You got to pour out and bring God into it because you don't want to go out there leading while you're bleeding.
Yeah.
You bleeding on folks.
My goodness. Wow. You bleeding on folks. The first step that anybody should take in how to invite God in is, number one, is humbling yourself.
Oh, man. Absolutely.
You got to humble yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
You got to sit here and say, you know what? And some people have a problem because they like, well, ain't nobody here.
Right.
Well, then that's just a problem with your faith.
Yes, sir.
Because
Yes, sir.
you believe that you breathing, but you don't see it. You don't see the air that's coming out.
Yeah.
But you believe that it's there.
But you believe that it's there.
Right? And dude, what's so crazy is that I remember one year I wrote these letters to God. And I was just writing. My goal was like 365 letters. I was going to try and write a letter for every day of the year. I didn't get that far.
Okay.
Right? Because I was stopped at a certain point.
Got you. Yeah.
But a lot of these letters that I wrote to God were, some were frustrating. Yeah. Some were passionate. Some were out of love. Some were just, it was just like, it was like kind of like almost like my own Psalms in a sense. You know what I'm saying? It was, I was just writing these letters because of what I was in. And I put it in my book, Remove Yourself to Improve Yourself. And it was all about removing me. Yes. Because oftentimes I'm in my own way. Yes. I'm in my own way of doing things, and I'm not allowing God to just do it. Right? And what I mean by that is, to put it practical for the practical folks, you said it earlier, like, give it away. Give it away. Because by giving it away, watch the opportunity that comes from you just giving it away. Because you never know that by you giving something away, it's going to land on somebody's desk, and they'll be like, yo, can I bring you in for such and such? Yes. Because you gave this to me. Yes. I'm going to bring you in for this.
Man, I don't understand how people don't understand that. Right. Yeah, because earlier in my business, I would try so hard to get people to work together so that they can see the bigger picture, so that we can win together. But everybody's so caught up on just me, right. Or, I want to be the face of this. That ain't really matter to me. Yeah. You know what I mean? I just want to do it because I know we all put our resources, our gifts, our talents, our abilities together, and what we learn in every day, man, we could be dangerous. Right. We could build something amazing. Right. But everybody's like, I shouldn't say everybody, but the people that have the fixed mindset are quickly to say, nah, I got it.
Man, listen, yo, I don't want to be the face of nothing because my face could be arranged. My face could be rearranged at any point in time.
I've never heard that before. That's good.
For real.
That's good.
I don't need to be the face because my face can be rearranged at any point in time.
Yeah, man.
And the thing is that, like, it's not about me, but it's about this message that we hold, right? Yeah. Let's think about it, right? When we read the Word of God, do we attach a real face to it? We never do. We don't attach a face. We only see the Word. Yeah. And the Word, the message that God is, we hold that. Right. And we take that. Right. We don't, like, I get it. There's images out there or whatever on the internet of what this may look like and that, but we don't know that. Right. But what we do know is that these words have lasted longer than them faces. Yeah. Right? So I look at it from a standpoint of, yes, I want to. This is what I've always felt, right? Because you preaching right now. Because I'm like, I've always wanted to be with people that didn't necessarily want to be in the front line by themselves.
Yeah.
Because real leaders don't cross the finish line by themselves. They cross the finish line with everybody else.
Yeah.
Like, let's cross this finish line together.
Yeah.
And that's all I ever really wanted.
Right.
Like, I've been in multiple groups.
Right.
And it's always, it'll start out hot.
Yeah.
And it'll get to a point where it fizzles out. Because when times get heavy, can you truly overcome the adversity, right? But in this season, right, in this season that I'm in, I've peeled back and just allowed God to work.
Yeah.
And I said, God, I'm just going to continue to put out the messages.
Yeah.
And then me and Matt got working together.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, look, whoever else comes through,
Right.
let it be from God.
Yeah.
I'm not going out looking for nobody.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because every time I do,
Yeah.
we get burned. So now, granted, all right, you may need somebody to do something on Fiverr.
Yeah.
You may need somebody to edit a video.
Right.
That's different.
That's simple. Yeah. That's something you can pay and just move. You building with somebody.
When you building something for God.
Yeah.
Because I text my wife this earlier. I said, yo, everything that I do, like, I'm making sure I do it as if I'm doing it unto the Lord. And that includes loving you.
Absolutely.
That includes loving you.
Absolutely.
Because, like, although I'm not perfect every day, I don't try to be.
Yeah.
I have my flaws, I have my mistakes. But I know one thing's for sure is that I want to do it as if I'm doing it for God.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And if we take that same mindset and we attach it to business, watch what can be.
Oh man, you'd be dangerous.
Yeah.
And you know what? That's what's happening for me right now. You know, I let go. I let go because I was a person who I always learned a lot. My dad exposed me to entrepreneurship when I was young.
Okay.
So I was always in the personal development, professional development space.
Right.
PBRs, conferences, Super Saturdays, Magnificent Month, all of that stuff. I was a part of.
Super dope.
You know, Jim Rohn, Zig Ziglar, Les Brown,
Love
Billy
it.
Graham. I was a part of all of that. So I grew up around that. And over time, I had a lot of success earlier on, making a lot of money, doing a lot, built the organization, people knew my name, all of that stuff. And then I remember having my daughter at 19.
Wow.
And then having to scale back because she was my focus.
Wow.
And I tried managing that, and I found out what was really essential and important. So then I started to really build with my daughter. And then I met my wife. And then we just kept building and kept building. And over time, I would realize that the people that God put in my life are still here today.
Amen.
The people that I tried to put in my life, I don't even have a trace of them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So over that time, I just realized, look, I'm going to allow God to put the people here that are supposed to be here.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I know that that's hard for people who always got to have their hands on things because they want things a certain way.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, that's powerful. People got to let go and let God.
Yeah.
I know it sounds cliche, but you really got to let go and let God, and hopefully they got a practical example.
Yeah, man. I think a lot of people have what we call they're missing something.
Yeah.
And you know exactly what you're missing. You just don't know exactly how to go after it. And I heard someone, I forget where I was listening this morning. I think it might have, was it Darius Daniels? I don't know if I was listening to Darius Daniels this morning, but I was listening to somebody, and it's crazy how people that grow up with Christ, grow up with God, right, from the jump, even if they veer off in their teen years, early 20s, they end up coming back.
Yeah. Yeah.
Versus someone that is not exposed to God like that. They know about God, but they're not brought up in, in the in church or in Christ at all.
Right.
no religious belief like that.
Right.
They make a lot of money. They do a lot of good things, but they end up missing something.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think matter of fact, I think it was a podcast with Anthony O'Neill and Erica Lachey, where you see a lot of women that make a lot of money, and I believe this goes for men too. They make a lot of money. They have everything in the world, but some of them end up being alcoholics.
Yeah.
Because they don't have, they have all the independence because that's all they know.
Yeah.
And then they get to where they're like 55, 60 years old, and they don't have, a companion. They don't have a man, or they don't have a woman beside them, or they're a womanizer or whatever. And that's all they know how to do. Yeah. Right? Yeah. And it's like, man, what would happen if you would have been exposed to it sooner? What would happen if you, some people may feel like it's too late for them.
Right.
Because the average person that gets married is in their 20s, 30s. Yeah. Right? Yeah. So they feel like, oh man, like it's too late for me.
Right.
I'm 40, I'm 45, it's too late. So, but I beg to differ because my man Abraham had a kid at 100. My man was 100 being on him.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, that's for sure.
Think about that.
That's
and I want to use this story for a reason because I think we live in a society today that has a problem with patience and a problem with waiting.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
And I believe I'm starting to learn more and more and more why God chose Abraham to wait until he gave him and Sarah a child.
Yeah.
Because this is what real patience looks like. This is the example of, really, really being steadfast, being patient, staying diligent, and keeping your faith no matter how long it takes.
Right.
I could do it sooner if I wanted to.
Right.
But I'm not because I'm trying to teach you something.
Right.
And we have a problem with that process of patience.
Yeah.
That we want everything so quickly that goes back to our conversation earlier. If I give it to you now, then it may be destruction a lot sooner coming your way.
Yeah.
But if I let you wait and allow you to mature and grow, right? Imagine what you could be.
Imagine.
Right? And it's like Mr. Miyagi, right? Like you ever see in a Karate Kid where how long it took for the bonsai tree to actually grow?
Yeah.
But look how much it was worth.
Right.
At the end.
Right.
It's like, dang, like this tree is worth this much money. It's worth so much because it had the time and the patience, to grow.
Yeah, and anything and everything that you see above surface went through something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you think of the iceberg, you see that iceberg.
Absolutely.
That's like the typical example that you use. But patience is truly the virtue, man. I've had to be patient in so many capacities, and I'm thinking about something that happened in my life to exemplify pure patience, man. I was impatient with my kids for a little bit.
Okay.
Just growing up, that being stern and about 2.5 years ago, I got a knock on the door. When the door opened, 4 little boys walked through that door. And 2 grown women. And they said, can they stay here? Hey, Uncle Les. What's up, Uncle Les? How you doing, Uncle Les? Uncle Les, what's up? And the way that it first started was that 2 of them were supposed to stay with us, 2 of them were supposed to stay with my sister-in-law. And it ended up being we kept all 4. And mind you, I already had 4 children. So I got 8 children in the house. Along with them came baggage. Yeah. Not just the physical baggage. Yeah. But the emotional baggage.
Yeah.
Man, I asked God. You gotta be careful what you ask God for. Because I was asking God for patience for my kids. And he brought me 4 more.
Brought you 4 more.
So in that time, I was learning, man. I was learning. And I realized that the things that I would see from them, it came from a place. It came from a place. And then I would see how their parents would react and how they behaved. I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
And I didn't say it out loud, but in the back of my head, I'm like, yo, you acting just like your mom and your dad.
And dad.
But I didn't stop there, though.
Yeah.
I didn't stop there. I looked at my kids and I said, you guys act the way you act because of me and because of your mom. And anything that I didn't like, I had to change it.
Yeah.
But it took a level of patience for me to even get there, man.
Right, right.
Because now that they've gone and transitioned back with their parents, the kind of patience I have for my kids now, it was like God gave me some resistance training.
Right.
That was training for me. Now I'm in the house like, my son wilding out, he bigging, and I'm just like, he good. But before I'm like, man, would you relax? Now I'm like, that's
Listen,
it.
man, I ain't gonna hold you, yo, cause that'd be me. I'm like with my son Javion, like it's like I love him so much, but he is an athlete.
Yeah.
So he's always jumping, playing,
throwing something.
Something's always breaking in the house. And it's like, oh my God.
Yeah.
I feel like this is just me.
Yeah.
I feel like I wouldn't mind it as much if I had more space. But then I sit there and say,
No, I wouldn't. No, you wouldn't.
I wouldn't. Because if I don't mind it now, I ain't gonna mind. I'm gonna mind it then too.
Yep.
If I mind it now, I'm gonna mind it then too.
Right,
so
right.
It ain't got nothing to do with the space.
Right.
It's just the fact that when I come home, I want peace.
You want peace. Yeah.
But I'm starting to figure out, okay, I can only get peace at certain times of the day. And I'm going to have to be content with that.
Yeah.
There ain't no way that I'm going to have peace throughout the entire day. God is on some, Kenny, I want peace too. But y'all tripping down here.
Yeah.
You think what y'all do gives me peace? Right. So if I ain't getting no peace, what makes you think that you gonna get peace?
Yeah.
So now I'm thinking about it more, and I'm like, okay, how can I get to a space where I can give them a space that you can do whatever you want?
Whatever you want, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
In this time frame, you could jump, you could play, you dirty it up. I don't care.
Yeah.
Because I'm always fixing something.
Yeah.
Something always breaking. I always got my tool belt is right by the bed.
Right by the bed.
Right. I got the drill.
Right.
I'm always like always me and my wife always right. And it's like it feel like almost sometimes we're decluttering, and then just out of nowhere it just seems like the clutter just comes back on. And I'm
laughing because
it's
I
so
know, man.
crazy.
I'm like,
I know I just cleaned this green room a month ago. Like I got rid of all of this stuff.
I know, man. I know.
But it's like I wouldn't trade it for anything.
Yeah.
Because these are lessons that's being learned, because in the household, that's our training ground.
Yeah.
For what's going on outside. And I tell my kids that all the time. I say, listen, I tell my son this. I say, yo, you know why I don't want you jumping around in the house? You got a special needs brother, right? And he's watching everything that you do.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to hold him back.
Yeah.
However, I am trying to prevent him from hurting himself.
Right.
Because he physically, not yet can't do what you do.
Right.
And when you do something, he's going to try it.
Yeah.
The other day, I say no balls in the house. Every day I say no balls in the house.
Every day.
Every day. No balls in the house. And JJ is normally the one that's got the ball in the house.
Right.
Now Christian got the ball in the house.
Right.
Christian throwing the ball, throws the ball.
Yep.
Glass breaks. This is why I say no balls in the house.
Right.
Because nothing broke until then.
The ball.
But I've been telling you, no balls in the house.
Right.
Right?
Right.
Excuse me. So it's like, what is God always telling us? Don't do this.
Mm-hmm.
Don't do that.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be with that girl.
Mm-hmm.
Don't talk to that dude.
Mm-hmm.
Don't do this. Don't do that.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get away with it for days, weeks, months, years.
Mm-hmm.
So much that you get so immune to it
Yep.
that ain't nothing going to happen.
Right. It catch up with you.
And it catch up.
Yeah, it catch up.
Right?
Yeah.
Problems sometimes are like the tortoise.
Mm.
That's how I see it.
Mm.
They're going to catch you one way or the other if
Yeah.
you don't sit here and take your time.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if you trying to be the hare, you going to burn out. And when you burn out, that problem going to come up.
Yeah, it's always gonna be there.
It's going to be there.
Yeah, it's that problems always catch up to you, especially when you don't deal with them. You got to deal with those things.
Yeah.
And they're gonna come out in the most inconvenient
Come
time.
on, man.
Right? You
The
think
wrong
you think
time.
you good. You think you good. Coast is clear.
Mm-hmm.
That thing gonna come up as soon as you get comfortable.
Yep.
As soon as you set in like,
Yeah.
coast is clear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You the hare. You right by the finish line.
Yeah.
And you chilling.
Yeah.
And here come that problem. Beat you to it.
Yeah. But we should expect that though.
Right.
We should expect that. I
Right.
mean, I lived enough life, and for those that's watching this, you lived enough life,
Yeah.
right? That you know that you're not going to live a life without challenges and
Yeah.
difficulties.
Right.
You know that.
Right.
So with that being said, I love how you said earlier, loving to learn,
Yeah.
because anytime I go through something, I take inventory, man.
Absolutely.
I take, what did I go through? Because I don't just go through things, I grow through things. Right? Because some people just going through things don't learn nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And you get mixed up in that same situation over and over
Absolutely.
again. So I teach my kids and anybody that I come across, don't just go through it, learn something.
Learn something.
You know, I think Eric Thomas said, get a reward for it. You
Yeah.
already going through it.
Right.
Get a reward for it.
Right.
Learn something from it.
Right.
So for me, I'm learning something from anything I go through, because at the end of the day, it's not just for me.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
That's
Like my
right.
son is going to deal with some of the similar challenges. My daughter's going to go through, somebody that I might speak to when I'm on the stage or I'm in the classrooms or I'm at a corporate, whatever, they may ask a question.
Yeah.
And I'm prepared because I grew.
Because you grew.
Not
Yeah.
that I'm just
Oh, man.
stuck in my mind like, you know what?
Yeah.
I got this.
Yo, you know that blessed my heart, man. Because I look at my 14-year-old, right?
Mm-hmm.
He getting up at 5:30 in the morning without me.
Wow. That's powerful.
He ain't got to be at the bus until 7:20.
Woo. That's a testament to you, bro.
You know
that's
what I'm
much
saying?
yeah. That's
He's
huge.
getting up, and
That's
he
huge.
and I know because I'm up.
Yeah.
I may not be out,
Yeah.
but I know he's up,
Right.
and I
Right.
know he's getting ready,
Yeah.
and I'm up at 5:30.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I know, I'm like, okay, he's getting himself prepared. He's getting himself ready. Like, let this be like 3, 4, 5 months ago. I got to drag this kid out the bed, right? Even though he's always been, like, when he's up, he's ready to rock.
Right.
But now, like, I'm like, all right, the other night, I say, Caleb, yo, we're at my son's baseball game. And so my mom went to go pick him up,
Yeah.
pick Caleb up and everything from practice.
Okay.
So he's home by himself, you know, and he's like, yo, I said, listen, wash the dishes. You know what I mean? Get your clothes ready for tomorrow. Make sure they iron, all of that. Get everything done. By the time I got home, everything was taken care of. House was ready to rock. Oh, we good. Now we just got to eat, transition, and go to sleep. Get up in the morning, 5:30.
Yeah.
Done, ready, downstairs waiting.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's what I like to see.
That's what I like to see. Yeah.
You know, and it's like, and if you're doing this now, I can only imagine
Yeah.
what it's gonna be
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
moving forward, because you're developing a habit. And so that's the thing,
Yeah.
right? How do we break these cycles? We develop new habits.
New habits. You gotta replace them with new.
We got to
habits.
replace them with new habits.
Yeah.
And replacing those, taking away those old habits, start a new habit.
You gotta start a new one. You can't just try to dwindle it away.
Right.
You can't because it'll come back. and it'll fester, and it may come back even worse,
Right.
because now you felt like you starved it, so now you making up for what you,
Ooh.
and then now you overdoing it.
Yup.
Right, like I ain't gonna eat no ice cream, I'm good. But you ain't replace it with
You
the
ain't replace
apple.
it. Right.
You know what I mean? Now you like, oh, I'm good. 2 days, 3 days go by, a week go by.
Yeah.
You like, you go to the shopping, you grab 3 boxes of ice cream, 3 gallons, and you in it.
Yup.
And you know what I mean? So we just got to be careful with that.
Yeah.
We definitely have to be careful. You got to replace them. And that's something that I'm learning in business.
Yes.
Right? I'm learning that in business, because even if I give someone else something that it has been such a habit for me to do,
Right.
I have to learn that now that person is on it and they say they got it, I got to trust them to have it.
Gotta trust them. Yeah, you can't micromanage.
I got to trust them to have it.
Yep.
So I let them do it. And when I let them do it, it comes out to be cool. Like I'm in that season.
Right.
Now before, it wasn't like that.
Yep.
I had to kind of be on it because it wasn't taking it serious. But now today, I'm like, wow, you take it as serious as I do.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But where does that come from? I think it comes from seeing what you do.
Seeing what you do.
So just
Right.
like your son, he sees what you do.
Yeah.
So he's like, all right, he ain't just saying this to me. He's not just saying this. He's actually doing it
Yeah.
and over a period of time. My problem is I got my 7-year-old trying to do that, and he's 7. I'm like, yo, get up. We're going to do this faith and focus. So we do a little stretch, we read, and then we talk for the day.
Yeah.
And he's like, man, I ain't trying to get up. And I'm like, come on, man.
Right.
Let's get up, you know. But he ain't trying to hear that. So I'm going to give him a couple. How old is your son? 14, you said?
14, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm going to give him a couple more years. I'm going to give him a couple more years.
Yeah.
And I ain't going to be too hard on him. Son, if you ever see this, man,
Yeah.
I'm going to give you like two more years.
Give it to him. You know what's funny is that my 14-year-old, he's playing football now, right?
Okay.
And I think that has been a help as well too.
Yeah.
Right? Because this is his first year playing ball.
Discipline.
Like, so he played, my 14-year-old, he played football when he was like 5.
Okay.
5 or 6, something like that. And
Okay.
it really didn't pan out too well.
Okay.
Because he really wasn't like locked in all the way, right?
Got you.
But now he's more locked in. He's more locked into the discipline. He just loves the game. He loves the physical contact, right?
That's good.
And I think that is maturing him in a lot of areas, right? Yeah. And I see him, you know, sometimes at the house, and he's like, you know, getting in this stance and trying to get off, you know, get off quicker and things like that. Like he's doing certain things in closed doors and closed areas,
that
right?
Character, building that character,
right?
man.
Because I tell my kids, I've been telling them this since before I can remember. I say what we do in private will dominate what we do in public, right?
Yeah.
Everything that we do in private. So when you get out, like I believe that discipline, because you got cats out there, they gonna curse you out. They gonna sit there and tell you that you this and tell you that you that. How you gonna respond to it?
Right.
How you gonna respond?
Yeah, that's training, man.
That training, right? This morning he said, like, he's like, man, like, I feel like I got a lot going on. I'm not as locked in to the game as I was last week. I said, well, you gotta learn how to change that mentality. You're gonna have days like that. You ain't gonna be locked into every game.
Yeah.
I said, control what you. I told him this morning. I said, control what you can control. Keep your nose clean. I said, you do that, you let everything else take care of itself.
Yeah.
Right?
That's that serenity prayer, man.
Yeah.
You know, pray that I can control the things that I can control, and the wisdom to know the difference between the things that I can control and the things that I cannot.
Amen.
You know?
Brother. Man, with that being said, man, like we're gonna have to chop it up some more.
Yeah, I feel like we got a lot more to pour out. We got a lot more to pour out.
We got a lot more. But listen, where can the people find you at and all of that? Where can they find you at? And let them know what you got going on.
Yeah, so I can be found on Instagram, Squair Jr. and LESSQUAIR Jr. And then I'm that on all my handles. If you're trying to go to my website, it'll be neverquitne.com. And we also have a podcast as well. It's called Doing Life with the Word. Me and my fellas, my brothers in Christ, we spend time, you know, diving into the Word, man.
Amen.
And it's an exciting time in the Lord. Just being real, man. Having some great conversations concerning
definitely
my
gonna
father.
get into that. Absolutely.
Yeah, we gotta have you guys out, man.
Yeah, come on now.
Yeah, we gotta have you guys out. But Yeah, that's me. And in regards to what I do, again, I'm an author, right? Book coming out soon. I'm also a speaker, and I'm also coaching, develop mentorship programs for the youth. I go into schools and I speak and develop curriculum for character building, student leadership programs. So,
Nice.
yeah, man, looking to also do some more corporate gigs too. I've done a couple in the past, but I'm looking to move more into that space as well.
Let's
So,
go.
yeah,
Yeah.
man, yeah,
My man, my man.
yeah.
I appreciate you
Yes,
coming on,
sir.
man.
Yes, sir.
Yes, yes, yes. Listen up, everybody. Please make sure that you like, subscribe, comment. You guys know the drill, Unshakable Nation. Listen, we're growing. We're getting to that next level. If you want to go ahead and sow a seed into the podcast to help us grow, help us get to that next level, go ahead and click the link in the description below. And you can go ahead and Venmo, Cash App, whatever it is that your heart desires. You know, $1, $2, $5, $100, whatever it is that you want to go ahead and give. Go ahead and give so that we can continue to bring on more guests like Les. That's a bar right there, you know what I'm saying? And we can continue to grow and help you guys learn and get what it is that you need to be getting so that you guys can go out and do what it is that you are called to do every single day so that we can be unshakable in this world. With that being said, everybody, listen, when we change the mind, y'all, we change the game. Yesterday is going tomorrow, worry about itself, and today is all we got. And if today is all we got, you make sure you go ahead and impact today the best way we know how. With that being said, KennethThomas.com. I'll check y'all later. One love. Peace.